What's up, guys?
What it do?
Welcome back to M&M Talks. I'm Maurice.
I'm Monica.
And today is the day.
That's the day. With that FF4.
Figure we get a geek session in before we go to the theater. We're scheduled to see it at 7 p.m. tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, here we are. A couple things we want to touch on. Phone.
Yeah, I know, right? My phone always be going off. Sorry, y'all. But
hey, we are parents, so. But yeah, we'll touch on our predictions, expectations for FF4 tonight. We will be doing out of theater reaction as well, so look for that. And then kind of give our thoughts and opinions on some things that have dropped since our last geek section. Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, Daredevil.
You know, just kind of touch
Final
on some
Destination.
of those things. Oh gosh, yeah. That was traumatic.
And actually, I just saw that we got another trailer to actually react to. Something I've been excited about. The Accountant trailer dropped today.
We get another Accountant.
So happy for that. So we will be reacting to that later.
But yeah, so we just wanted to talk about FF4 before we go and see this. I do want to start off by saying, because we watched some other reactors as we usually do, your hate will not be tolerated on this channel. I can understand you just not liking a character because you don't like the actor or blah blah blah, but just to not like somebody because they're black, we heard on one specific one, they were doing a live and there was quite a few people on there talking about the ghetto, dirty Captain America or some bullshit like that. Nah, keep that shit to yourself. We're here to talk about movies and shows, and that's where we're gonna keep it at. If you want to have all that hatred bullshit because you insecure about your motherfucking life for whatever goddamn reason, take that somewhere else, not here. But outside of that, yeah, we are gonna talk about our expectations.
Yeah. I've had growing expectations, growing excitement for this movie. I've not been one, as you know, if you watch our other previous videos, the reshoots, the rewrites that have been happening do not scare me off of this movie. I'm not one that's going to say, oh, they're having issues, oh, there's going to be trash. I don't do that to movies before I go and watch them. Given the expectations of things that we know now, that's public information that has changed going into the Avengers films, it only makes sense as a creative writer myself to understand that the approach has to change to those movies too, and that's what's happening. With the announcement of RDJ coming back, the Russo brothers coming back, the entire Avengers lore or movies that was going to be originated, Kang Dynasty, all that got scrapped, and they brought these guys back while this film was still doing some reshoots. You would expect some things to be changed. There were some reshoots that were announced for Thunderbolts, but in here, you try to talk about that. So there's a lot of channels, a lot of people out there that they want to hate something before it comes out, and that really gets on my nerves. It irritates me to my core because it's unnecessary. It's highly unnecessary. When you do something like that and then you have the expectations of, let's say, the Marvels that came out, it wasn't a terrible movie. It wasn't a terrible movie. It wasn't a great movie, but it wasn't trash either.
I will say I was one of those ones that did not go watch it in the theaters because I was like, oh, I think I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to wait until it starts streaming because I didn't think it was going to be all that great. And I'm just tired of going to theaters and watching these bummy movies. So I waited. But then when I did watch it, then I was mad. And I was just, I liked it. Was it great? Absolutely not. But it was a good movie. It was just kind of mid there. And so after that, I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to go see these movies and have my own opinion, which is what brings me to my expectations, which I have zero. Maurice and I were talking about this, and he asked me, he was like, what do you want to see from it? And I'm just like, I just want it to be good. And my reasoning for that is because we all every single one of us have our own expectations as to what we want a movie to look like or a TV show, what we want them to do, what we would like to see happen. We all have our own theories, thoughts, and expectations around that. And the majority of us, our expectations of what we actually want to see should stay just that.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those.
Yeah.
I'll be wanting to see the most extra ass shit in a movie, and
Oh my
that
God.
it should never be see the light of day in theater.
I've seen a number of channels
So-
where, my goodness, these
So-
people are reaching. They
Yeah.
want this and that. That should happen. This should happen. Red Hulk should do this.
Yeah, so
Like,
I'm
oh,
just
chill
like,
out.
I have zero expectations. Why? Because again, we be wanting way too much
Yeah.
for shit that should never be on screen.
There's no way he can hang with Red
I
Hulk.
want to go into this just being able to just watch the movie. I have no expectations of what I want to happen. I want to see what the writers, directors, the creative minds behind this came up with. I want to see what direction they go with it and decide if I like it from there. I mean, of course, there are going to be a lot of stuff that still come out that we're just like, nah. Just no. We were hyped up about The Flash, and while there's a lot of people who like it, there's a lot of people who don't. I'm one of those people who do not.
That's the last time I'll be that hyped for a movie.
I didn't get myself too hyped,
Oh
but
my God.
I allowed myself to be like excited. So, and then I was let down. But in order to give a fair review, I feel like people should go into movies with zero expectations. Because when we have too high expectations, we judge it unfairly, way too unfairly a lot. And we've been hearing some of the criticism going on with Cap 4, and I'm just like, I don't like really watching these things. Maurice does, and I just happen to get caught in the crossfire because I hate other people's expectations. Again, they're unrealistic, biased, and stupid most of the time. And then because those expectations weren't met, now they're on a platform talking about, oh, it wasn't this and it wasn't that. And okay, but did you give it a real shot outside of what you expected to see versus what it was? I mean, not everything you think should happen translate well to TV. So it's just one of those, again, I've been doing this with every single movie that comes out. I have zero expectations. And I know we caught some serious slack when it came to us saying that about the Superman movie. I still don't give a shit. But
Oh, I stand where I stand. With Superman.
that's how I am. And that's how I'm going into this. Zero expectations. I want to let the movie play and go where it's supposed to go and not where I want it to go, and judge it off based off that. So yeah, that's all I want from it. I just want it to be a good movie. I don't want it to meet my unrealistic expectation, because Lord knows, man, if we can have some glitter popping out somewhere and glitter is life for me. But I mean, and some dragons flying around in the glitter and shit. See, those type of thoughts, they need to stay in my head, not on fucking TV. But I mean, being real, there's just so many unrealistic and biased expectations that it's just stupid. So again, no
Yeah.
expectations. I just want it to be a good movie.
I have excitement more than I have expectations for it. There's some things that I'm excited to see take place on screen. And one of these things actually is hasn't really been pushed much, because they are advertising, they're really pushing Red Hulk out there within their advertisement campaign, getting him everywhere. I understand that, and I'm honestly I was expecting to see much of Red Hulk, and the reports came out saying that he's not in it that much as it should be. So great, honestly. This movie is about adamantium, if I remember correctly.
We finally addressing this big ass celestial in the goddamn sea.
This is where my excitement's coming from for this movie. This is where I guess like my focus is going to be. I want to know where everything stands at on a geopolitical scale. I want to see a decent espionage movie.
I want to see where at in the timeline we really are.
Where are we within our timeline? Where is Earth at this point? Like, what's going on? I don't think we've seen what's been happening in the MCU on our main 616 Earth in quite some time. So that's what I'm excited to see. We don't know where the Avengers are. Maybe we get an update in this movie. We know that Sam took on the shield. Now he's Captain America. I'm looking forward to see how he handles it. He's putting his unique touch on Cap.
And while I am excited to see that, I am going to say this. I hated the way they handed off the shield. That in
That could have been done
Endgame,
differently. Yeah.
that definitely should have been handled a lot better than us getting that little 1 to 2 minute scene of Steve Rogers handing it off to Sam. And then ever since then, we've been acting like Steve Rogers is dead. He didn't die. The man was still walking around. He just decided to freaking age. He done had a whole life. He done got married and all this other kind of stuff. So he's not dead. Why are we going about this as if the man is dead? He should have been in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes.
We should have had
I
more.
agree.
We should have had more of him passing this torch on to Sam. More of the just the guidance going into it and stuff like that. There should have been more that they should have did that. I hate the way they did that handoff. And now it's just like, and everybody knew how a lot of people were going to react to having a black Captain America. Let's address that elephant in the room. And
I thought they addressed it actually really well in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
well, no, they did.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, I'm talking about in our room. But what I'm saying is we knew the pushback it was going to get. First of all, Steve Rogers is no longer Captain America. A lot of people still got to process that shit. Because I'm not even going to lie. Steve Rogers.
Well, I got to process
Chris
it.
Chris Evans is Steve Rogers is Captain America to me. And that has nothing to do with Anthony Mackie because he's an amazing freaking actor. And I think he can pull this off. And not to mention, if it couldn't be Bucky. We know why it couldn't be Bucky because he's a killer. What Captain America is supposed to stand for, there is no freaking way that Bucky can take on the shield, just like John Walker wasn't able to take it on. They can't do it. So who else was going to do it besides Sam? Everybody talking about, these Steve Rogers is not he's not Captain America. Then who the hell else was it going to be? Because and I know we're not going off the comics, because if we were, we all know Steve Rogers dies in Civil War. So, and Bucky did take on the mantle after that, and but that was a short amount of time until someone else came along. But my whole thing, who else was going to take on that? Who else shared those same values, same thought press, same mental and emotional state that Steve Rogers did? There was a reason he gave it to Sam in the first damn place. And while I understand it, I was still processing the fact that Steve Rogers was no longer Captain America, because I loved him as Captain America. I love that Captain America. That was our Captain America. And you took that away, so that's gone now. We needed time to process this shit. And you giving us a 2-minute clip of you saying, I done grow, we done seen you done went back and had a whole life in a couple of seconds and whatever, and then you hand it off to Sam, and that little word exchange, that was not enough for us. That was not enough for us to process. And then, so now that we got to process the fact that Steve Rogers is no longer our Captain America, then you go ahead and give a black man the shield and make him the new Captain America. So there was all types of, there was no win for Sam.
On screen, it wasn't done well.
It wasn't. And that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
it just was not done well. I needed to see more of that mentorship, putting him into that place. And hopefully we get a little bit more of that. But so far, I feel like they've done Sam wrong in that aspect.
On screen, it definitely should have been handled better. I don't necessarily mind the scene we got at in the end of Avengers Endgame. I don't necessarily mind that. It was how the Falcon and the Winter Soldier handled it. Now, I like the transition of him not necessarily accepting it, him going through the mental process and the emotional disattachment and reattachment to it and what it stood for. I understood all that. I actually love that. So that's one of my favorite Disney Plus series. I thought Disney Plus got off to a good, strong start with that and WandaVision. But it was a blown opportunity also.
It was.
They should have had, after the conflict that we witnessed within that series, Wakanda showing up, all of that, Steve Rogers should have reappeared.
He definitely should have.
He should have reappeared in that series to hand the shield off properly for the rest of the MCU world to see, whether it be at a conference or something where that mantle was passed on from Steve Rogers to Sam Wilson. I think had you have done that for us as the audience, especially going into this movie now,
And those of us who aren't ignorant.
it would have been better received.
Yes. Yes.
Then, between that was a while ago. Shit, that came out that was 2020, I think.
I don't even remember.
But the time frame. I mean, this has been going on is near 5 years. He should have appeared in something else as Cap by now. That's mind-boggling to me. You had the perfect scene to do it in Shang-Chi.
Yeah, definitely could have.
You had the perfect end credit scene to do that in Shang-Chi.
We needed more of an introduction to him before we just went into his own movie. We needed to see him. We needed to get used to him. Really do, because as you can see, we still have trouble not calling him Falcon. I still call him the Falcon all the time. Like, we just needed a little bit more in that exchange from Steve Rogers to Sam. We needed a little bit more of that mentorship of Steve Rogers being supportive while he takes up the shield. And for us audience that are not ignorant, just for us to process the fact that we losing Steve Rogers. And again, I still hate the fact that they're acting as if Steve Rogers is dead. Like, there's seriously no mention of him really, like in the aspect of him being alive. We talk about, he's being talked about as if he is no more. And I'm just like, so unless I missed something, he didn't die. He didn't die. And he looked like he was still living a life. But I don't know. I just, it bothers me that it was done that way because of all the adversity that Sam is facing, both Sam and Anthony Mackie for that matter. It should have been handled a lot better. It should have been handled a lot better.
The fan base is showing its nasty side right now.
It's ignorance.
Yeah. This happened in Star Wars. It's still happening in Star Wars. Now it's starting to happen with the MCU, and it's ignorant. It's stupid. There's so many words that can go along with it. No, this is not the comics. Get over it. Yeah. Please get over it. Yeah. Yes, they are going to pull elements
from
the source material, but they're not going to make it page for page.
And the fact that people are still not over that yet is mind-boggling to me. It's a little bit beyond me. Because I'm like,
really?
How many movies have we had that they didn't changed up from what happens in the comics? Like, just get over it already. Yeah. They're not going to follow the comics.
Not everything translates to the screen well. We've seen that in Game of Thrones. We've seen that in The Walking Dead. We're seeing it now. We've seen it in DC. It doesn't translate well.
Hell,
you cannot do everything.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how they translating Lilo and Stitch into live action. And if you've seen it, both of them, you understand what I'm talking about. But we'll see. But that's just it.
Yeah, but I'm excited for this movie tonight. There's certain things I'm looking for. Not necessarily to happen. I just want to see how they're going to handle this conflict. Mm-hmm. This whole battle over adamantium. Like, you don't see that or hear that being talked about much. And I saw in one of the trailers, there's Japanese jet fighters are out there. I'm like, oh shit, okay, it's really going down over, this adamantium that's within Tiamat. They're addressing that. Another big thing I was reminded about was Betty Ross returning. Liv Tyler's.
Yeah.
Betty Ross is returning. Like, there's some things that I do believe they dropped the ball on in advertising that could have piqued interest, but I know they're pushing a certain character as a Red Hulk to get people into seats. I understand that, but there is some things that are far more interesting to me. Red Hulk was just more the icing on top of the cake that didn't necessarily need to be there. I I could care if this movie had him or not. To be honest about it, I wanted to see where the country stood, where the world stood. How is this fight going to go over adamantium? Does Wakanda get noticed? You know, he's got a new vibranium suit apparently. So, you know, we know the struggle between Wakanda and the rest of the world with vibranium. Now there's a stronger metal that they want to fight over, and we know how bad America wants to get their hands on something that's stronger, because they hate the fact that Wakanda has the strongest metal on Earth. So, like, stuff like that, I'm really interested to see, and it's in this movie. So yeah, like that, I'm excited for that.
I definitely looking forward to seeing what they do with some things. I like the fact that Red Hulk is in it. It adds a little bit more depth for me. This whole Celestial Island, Tiamat
finally being addressed.
Yeah, like and before Cap 4 was even announced or anything like that, we've been talking about that for a minute. It's just like, why the fuck we got this whole Celestial over there just sticking out to sea? Ain't nobody said nothing about it.
Hand in hand, we just like
we just not gonna talk about that. Oh shit, there's a whole Celestial out there.
There's not one mention of Arishan the Judge peering out in the clouds.
Right.
Like,
right.
Nobody talked about that.
So we just not gonna talk about this. All right. Okay. That's what we doing. We just ignoring the fact that this happened. Okay. All right. Sure. Fine. But it's just like what I definitely want to see where they go with that, and how that gets addressed finally, and what does that lead to? Because we know and we don't know, but we feel Wakandans should be involved in some type of way. We do think we seen one of the war dogs in there, just because of the fact that it is adamantium. There is now another metal that is comparable or even more to vibranium. Why wouldn't the Wakandans want to know, especially seeing as how the other countries were trying so hard to get at Wakanda for it, because they wanted access to something like that. And then we've got Japanese fireflies in here, meaning we got the Japanese involved. So, I mean, and like the Queen said in Wakanda Forever, they've got eyes everywhere. They listen to what's going on. So why wouldn't they be involved? Why wouldn't they want to know and stuff like that? And we may not see them. You never know. I guess we'll see tonight. But so I'm just interested on how we go about that. If we do get some mention of like any other Avengers going on in here, I don't know. There's a couple things I'm looking forward to seeing, but no expectations.
Yeah, that's kind of where I stand on it. I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score. Don't care, never did, never will care about Rotten Tomatoes. So I whatever.
No.
Some reactions.
They dislike some movies that I'm like, how?
Some reactions have been good, some not. It looks mixed from what I've viewed, what I've seen. It is what it is. I feel like
everybody went in with those high expectations of their own shit they wanted to see.
And honestly, I feel like more people went in with the bar set low as well. Again, people don't know how to manage news that drops while a project is in production. And the first sign of a reshoot. Oh, this is going on. Oh, somebody said this is bad. Or test screening went wrong. Some shit like that. All of a sudden, the bar goes from here way the fuck down here. And it's irritating. And it's like, okay, you know what? Turn it off. All these channels. We're not going to be one of those. And I want to get this out there, too, because this bugs the crap out of me. We are not one of those channels. Because we're going to put up more videos. We're going to do some more lives. Have different subjects to talk about. But we will not be one of those that the moment there is a rumor that comes out, that we're trying to get a video out just for clicks.
Yeah.
That's not us. Okay? Don't expect that. I hate that. I hate that with a passion. Something confirmed in all caps. No.
Right. No, there's no clickbait with us. We do this because
grow up.
We love movies. We love TV shows. We love the whole theater. We love theater, period.
Theater experience.
Even musical and Broadway for me. So it's just one of those. We are not here to get everybody. Of course, we want more people to come to our channel. Of course, we want to interact with you guys. Of course, all these other little things. But nah, we're not doing the clickbait. This is not our livelihood. So we just really genuinely want to talk about something that we love and be able to communicate with that with you guys as well. So no clickbait here.
We will be doing a reaction. We're gonna go see it again tomorrow, just so we can kind of immerse ourselves a little bit deeper into the story, figure out things that we didn't like, what we saw, what we didn't see. Yeah. So that we can actually put up a review, maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you watch a movie the first time, you miss so many things because you don't know what to expect. So you're just looking at it and not really too focused. You may pick out a few things in here, but then when you go see it again, you're like, oh shoot, I missed that. Oh, I missed that. Oh dang, did you see that? That's another reason why we wanted to go watch it again. Yeah.
So we are going tonight, going tomorrow. Look to our theater reaction, and then look to our review. We have a review up. I want to say I'll probably do it Tuesday. What? Everybody should have seen it by Tuesday. Most of y'all should have seen it by Tuesday. So
yeah, and we'll have some spoiler warnings.
Yeah, this will be a spoiler reaction. So if you didn't see it, don't check out the video till you watch it.
Right. So we do, and I do want to give a shout out to everybody that worked on the show. I mean, because they definitely deserve credit, whether we like it or not. They still put in all those hours and shit like that. And I do. For those who have seen it already, after tomorrow or something, can you give us a reason as to why you feel the way you do about the movie? If you disliked it, just simply give us an explanation why. Just would really like to know. We love having those conversations, because again, everybody looks at everything in their own aspect. So I may look at something some way, he does. We disagree on some things quite often ourselves. So it's just, we want this interaction. We want to understand your perspective of it and how you see it. Those are the things that we like and want to do on this channel.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we're going to, that tonight at 7 p.m. us and the kids are going to go watch this, get it done, and then come back. We'll do, again, like we said, we'll do our initial out of theater reaction. Of course, we'll have the kids in the video. But yeah, so outside of that,
got a couple of trailers I did drop. So let's touch on Thunderbolts trailer, which was really freaking good.
We got to see more of Sentry and not Bob.
I knew they were introducing Sentry in this movie, and it threw me for a loop when I saw them actually, talk. They showed Void. I didn't think they would actually do that in this movie, so my hype has been raised up significantly. With there being an introduction of a character of his magnitude, I thought it may take a little bit before we got to that point. But when they started to show it, and that's why I was so confused. What the hell's going on? Why is a shouting figure going up? It actually is Void. Okay, shit. They're doing this. All right. None of these guys are super, so how is this shit going to happen?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say.
All the super swords. I'm like, how are they about to take on Void?
And I don't know much about Sentry. I knew of him. I've seen him through some of the comics because I read a lot of comics. But I don't know much about him. So when we were seeing this shadowy figure in the trailer that dropped, I didn't realize he had an alter ego and this Void thing. But then after hearing someone tell us about it, in the comics, when Void takes over, there was like a crossover apparently between not just the we had the Justice League, the Avengers, not the Justice League. God dang, you know what I'm talking about? The Avengers, the Thunderbolts.
Drink chicken in.
Somebody said this in the comics, and I'm just like, okay, so if Void is that powerful and that strong, how in the hell are the Thunderbolts going to stop him? So who else are we getting in this movie? For me, there has to be more than just the Thunderbolts, because how in the fuck do they stop Void? Because Sentry, from my understanding, he fights with himself to keep Void at bay. And he struggles with that himself. So I don't know. I'm just curious as to see how do they handle this by themselves, or do we get some other people that show up in here?
One person I could think of that may end up popping up in this movie may be White Vision. Given the sense that might be the only person that can actually physically roll with Void to a point, but that's going to understand exactly what the hell is happening too. I think this movie's big because there was a shot in that trailer where it showed at least Yelena walking into the Void. With the casting news that had dropped about Avengers Doomsday and the entire cast of the Thunderbolts team was listed, that does that my mind has been working. I think this movie is going to be big.
Avengers, X-Men, and Fantastic Four all had to come together. That's what I meant, not Justice League. My bad, y'all.
So I think the introduction of Sentry / Void may play a much bigger role into the multiversal war. Excuse me, we're about to get with the Avengers movies. I say that because of that quick shot that we did get of Yelena walking into the Void, and all of them, the cast members of the Thunderbolts being listed in at least the early release for Avengers Doomsday. I was not expecting their names to be right under the names likes of Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland. And now all of a sudden you got all of their names right under that. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, so they must play a significant role, or whatever's going to happen in the Thunderbolts, or at the end of Thunderbolts, going to have a significant role going into not only Fantastic Four but the Avengers, because I believe Fantastic Four is another big one.
And I feel like
we're going to experience
one of these we're gonna get the Avengers crew, because they have to let us see them before they just give us an Avengers movie. So I don't know. I guess we're gonna see. We'll see. I do feel, because of what's going on in Thunderbolts, there's a lot that they are not showing us, and I do feel
there's a lot they're not. You can tell.
I feel like there's gonna be some other people pop up in it that they're of course not showing us, and I love that.
I feel like this movie's loaded, because they showed a lot in that trailer. They showed a hell of a lot in that trailer, but I feel like this movie's loaded.
But it still left questions. And the biggest question of all is, how the fuck are these people going to defeat Void?
One of the biggest questions is, what the hell is this asterisk?
Yeah. What the hell is this asterisk?
So I did see it in that poster, the one that was released overseas. I think it's released in the States soon now, where I think the asterisk now is not 5 sides, but 6 sides now, something like that. But then at the bottom of the poster it says the Avengers are not available with the asterisk next to it. So that line, the way that trailer opened, and now that they put that on the poster, is significant to me, because it seemed like the world is facing an Avengers level threat with the Void, and they're not there. But what is
this? I just want to know what the fuck it is.
I guess the question is, like, what is he seeing? What is Sentry / the Void seeing?
Who the fuck done brought him out?
It looked like he may have been experimented on.
Why? People just ain't gonna get enough of experimenting on shit. They shouldn't be. God,
but the hype of Thunderbolts has went up significant. I was already hyped for it because I like the team, and it was very much a meat and potatoes, ground and pound, shooting, kicking, and punching type team. Nothing that's really super about them except for their strength.
I love their discoordination.
Yeah, and I'm actually excited. We did rewatch.
They're the complete opposite of the Avengers. There is no camaraderie or any kind of cohesiveness with their teamwork at all, and I love it.
We did rewatch Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And I am now really looking forward to seeing this version of John Walker. I think he's probably going to be one of the best parts of that movie, and he's a dad too. So I'm like, oh shit, he got a kid, so he willing to go all out. Like I was only him losing his mind, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing him again. What's his real name? Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son. Wyatt Russell did a fantastic job on Falcon and Winter Soldier as John Walker. So I'm looking forward to seeing him step into that role again and deliver. I'm also happy to see Ghost again. I'm glad they're doing something with that character because I actually really liked her in Ant-Man and the Wasp. There's a lot of potential with her character and she kicks ass. So I'm actually excited to see her again.
I'm excited to see all of them back. And again, just the fact that they are not a team in any, I mean, other than the part that they have the same common enemy, they are not a team, and I fucking love it. That is awesome to me. They just don't. Oh gosh.
But yeah, that one comes out. That's a May movie. Usually May MCU movies are big ones. So I think the date's significant as well. But another one will be there day one to watch.
We will, as always.
Let us know what you guys think about Thunderbolts, what your expectations are, what your theories are.
What you think that asterisk it means.
Yeah.
Like everything that you've seen so far, including this new trailer. So yeah, let us know. Let us know what's on your mind. We want to hear that.
The other one was Fantastic Four. I thought the trailer was great. I love the aesthetic of the trailer. I love the whole 60s futuristic Jetsons type vibe that they brought.
I like Thing. I like their rendition of Thing.
So that was some source material that they did pull on this version of the Thing. Yeah. And I don't mind it. I heard some people talking about it and calling it crappy. Like, honestly, it's so funny because a lot of people complain about making things comic accurate, but when they do, they got something to complain about.
And I think we can all be thankful that they never made Wolverine comic book accurate.
We saw how that looked.
God, I'm glad they showed that in Deadpool and Wolverine.
We saw how that looked.
No. But yeah, I mean, I'm not that excited for it still because I've just never been a Fantastic Four fan. So this one is not my thing, but I'm going into it just like I'm going into everything else. Zero expectations. I want to see what they come up with. I just want to see how it plays out. That's it.
I've never been that big of a fan of Fantastic Four. However, I am excited for this movie because of what it possibly means. I do believe we are going to witness a universe die on screen. I think it's going to be that universe. The question is, though, because there's been a couple of things I've been thinking about when it comes to this movie. Is this actually their universe? Or did they cross over to this universe back in the 60s? This goes back to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness when Doctor Strange did meet with the Illuminati. He's talking to Reed Richards. And when they introduced their name, Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, he has that line, didn't you guys chart in the 60s? It's like he's heard of them before.
I think that is their universe, and then they're going to cross into another one.
But they're definitely coming to the 616 universe, our main sacred timeline universe.
I just don't think 616 is there. I think where they are currently at the beginning, that is their universe. That's what I think, and that's just because, I mean, as you've seen in the trailers, where we got Reed talking to what's her name, what's her name, Sue. There we go. Like you want to call. Anyhow, he's talking to Sue and saying like the first time they went on this whole moonwalk, none of them had their abilities and stuff. So you can tell that they grew up in whatever universe that is. And then somehow, or wherever we're probably going to see in this movie, they did come. That's when they came to the 616. So I personally do think that is their world.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's that theory out there that they're originally from our sacred timeline. Somehow back in the 60s they crossed over, or this is their universe. It's going to die. I don't necessarily know the presence of Galactus, what he's going to be there for, but I don't think it is what we would think it's there for. I don't think he's the the main antagonist for this film. But I would like to know exactly what his purpose is. Maybe he's trying to leave the universe because he knows it's getting ready to die.
And we get to see him in his whole form and not just a face in the sky.
So,
which
or a
is
cloud
hilarious.
in the sky.
Yeah. That's hilarious
That
to
was
me.
terrible. But I'm really interested. I know I think we're supposed to be getting Nathaniel Richards in this one, which is actually another interesting aspect. But I said that there's going to be a surprise in this movie. I do think we definitely witnessed an incursion. I did have a theory that we may get Black Panther in this movie. That one I'm still kind of high on. But I'm even higher on us getting Doctor Strange in this movie.
I would say Doctor Strange. I don't think we'll get Black Panther.
I'm really high on us getting Doctor Strange in this Fantastic Four movie. The last we saw of him, he left the 616 reality to stop an incursion. Maybe this is the incursion that he's trying to stop.
Yeah, I would say we would probably, if I had to give a guess, I'd say it'd be Doctor Strange. So
I'm really looking. My expectations, my excitement have gone up for this movie. I do believe this would be the, I guess you'd call it the doorstep to the Avengers movies, leading into Secret Wars and Doomsday. Will we see RDJ Doom in it? I do believe we may get like a post-credit scene or something like that, or some sort of reference to Doctor Doom. God, what if it's Doctor Strange actually sees Doctor Doom in that movie, and
that's gonna be crazy.
Tony Stark's face that's gonna freak him. That would be crazy. But
that's crazy.
But we are going to see something major, I believe, with this Fantastic Four movie. They have been talking about this for years. Kevin Feige has been excited for this one for a very long time. I do believe this is probably the second movie that is going to be outside of the lineup of movies from the Chapek era. So this is one of those where Kevin Feige had his control back from start to finish, along with Thunderbolts. I believe this is the last one tonight of the Chapek era was Captain America: Brave New World. Mm-hmm. And Kevin Feige stepped in on a few of those. He stepped in on this one, as we saw all the reshoots that everybody's complaining about. But they're not talking about Daredevil, which got completely redone. Kevin Feige did that one, and
I'm definitely looking forward to Daredevil.
And he stepped in on Agatha All Along, and they did the reshoots on that, and that turned out well.
It was brilliant.
So
loved it.
There was a bit of a transition phase coming from the Chapek era of Marvel Disney of movies, and this is, I believe, Captain America is the last of that. The last of those, I believe. I got to do my research on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I do believe it was this one, Daredevil, and Agatha were the last of the transition movies from the Chapek era back to Kevin Feige being back in full control. And then we're back to things the way they used to be, starting with Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
But speaking of Daredevil, god damn.
I am very much so looking forward to this show. I finally went back because if y'all watched our earlier stuff, I did not fully watch Daredevil. I didn't watch it. I started, then I stopped, then I picked up at like season 3, and yeah. So I went back and I rewatched it all. So I'm completely caught up, and then I had to ask myself, why the hell didn't I finish this? It was so freaking good.
All 3 seasons were amazing.
They were, and I think it was just because I was watching something else at the time. I squirrel a lot. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to it. I don't have any expectations still, but I am looking forward to it.
I'm just looking forward to great storytelling like they did in the first 3. Seeing some characters come back, Punisher being one. I did hear, and I did see some pictures that leaked a while ago, actually, of Jessica Jones returning in this series as well. Was that part of the stuff that got rescribed? I honestly don't know. Don't remember if I heard that correctly or not. But I do know that she is in this series. When, I don't know. When she comes onto screen, I don't know. I didn't hear much about Luke Cage or Iron Fist. I would love to see Luke Cage come back. I will say I would like to see Iron Fist come back. I'm not going to hate as much as everybody else is and has been. Look, the series were bad. Iron Fist was not a good show. Second season, it was an improvement from the first season. But I would not mind seeing, I forget the actor's name that plays Iron Fist, but I wouldn't mind seeing him return as Iron Fist just to keep the continuity going, and then see what type of impact Rand Enterprises can actually have on the current state of the MCU. But Daredevil itself, the brutality is back. I'm just hoping that good storytelling is also back. Mayor Fisk is involved. Karen and Foggy are back. For as much as we know, they're back. I have a feeling we're losing one of them.
I feel like one of them is going. I don't know which, but I feel like one of them is going.
I have a feeling we're losing one of them. But I'm a big fan of the Daredevil series. I cannot wait to watch this again. Now being immersed into the main MCU story arc, I'm looking forward to that. We got to see a little bit of Daredevil and Spider-Man. That god awful picnic family scene at She-Hulk with him being.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not finish She-Hulk. I didn't finish it.
I showed her the finale of She-Hulk, and I started it at the most random time.
So, okay. In my defense, he started it when literally Daredevil just drops out of the sky from no fucking where. Like, from the fucking abyss. He just drops out of the sky in this superhero pose. And I said, what in the fuck? Like, where did he come from? Why did he drop out of nowhere? But then I went back and watched it and understood why, but it was still funny as shit. I stopped watching after She-Hulk and Megan Thee Stallion was twerking, and I was like, I'm not doing this shit. Like, I was done after that. I just didn't even finish watching it.
That show was so bad. They knew what they were doing too, waiting to show Daredevil that late into the season, because they knew how bad that shit was going to be. And everybody was sticking around just to see Daredevil. So, well played, but that show was god-awful. But other than that, I mean, we had Kingpin show up in Hawkeye, and Echo. But just seeing these characters in that world kind of thrown into the mix of what we've been accustomed to in the main MCU timeline, I'm actually looking forward to that as well, and see how that's going to start crossing over, interacting, and how one is affected by the other. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. But it all starts with tonight. Tonight, we go see this kickoff of the MCU. With this Cap 4, and again, zero expectations. I'm just hoping it's a good movie, and you will get our initial out of the theater reaction once we walk out.
Yep.
But yeah,
my expectations are. I don't know. I'm excited more than I'm expecting anything. I'm excited because there's a couple of things I actually want to get information on and see where it's going to go in the overall scope of where we're heading into with these Avengers films. For quite some time, we didn't have any direction, and I think that was a problem with the MCU. There was no direction. In the first few
everybody
phases,
was doing their own damn thing.
Yeah, the first few phases, we had direction. We knew where it was going. We knew at some point we were going to come into conflict with Thanos. and the Infinity Stones. We knew where it was going to end up. After that, this shit has been all over the place. And I've been watching them. I've been watching these movies, these shows. Some I like, some I don't like. But again, it almost went back to the feeling of how Fox used to do shit with superhero movies. It's just random. Just put out a movie because it's a name and title, got a couple of characters, and let it be.
I did want to ask you guys, because we haven't watched it, but a Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, have you guys started watching it, and what do you think? Please go ahead and drop your thoughts about it down in the comments. We've been going back and forth. I mean, for the most part, we don't want to watch it, but we feel like we should anyway. But definitely let us know what you guys think about it in the comments. But yeah, so that's definitely that. We just wanted to jump on and chat with you guys, and especially with us getting ready to go see Cap 4 tonight, and can't wait to talk to you all about that either.
Yeah.
But yeah, for now, we always thank you guys for hanging out with us. And if you have not already and you made it this far, please go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. We definitely appreciate you if you do, and those who have already done it, we definitely appreciate your continued support. If you do want to hear more from us, go ahead and hit that notification button so you don't miss every time that we jump online, because we are going to start doing some lives.
Yeah, I was just actually going to touch on that. We are going to start expanding our channel a little bit more. I am working on our Patreon right now. I got to go back and actually get some of these old videos and put them on Patreon. We're really not looking to make a quick buck, or that's not the focus of this channel. We're trying to keep it authentic. So I'm learning Patreon as I go, but we will be putting uncut reactions on Patreon, and then we're going to start doing some movie reactions.
Our uncut is funny as hell.
So yeah, I am working on that. I will get that up. Actually, it is up. There's just nothing on there right now. So if you want to stop by to visit, feel free to. And then we will be doing starting some lives. We're getting close to our 1,000 subscribers.
And we appreciate those who are helping us get there.
Thank you guys. Not bad for we're up for about 3 months now.
About 4 months.
4 months.
About 4 months we've been up. So we appreciate you guys. We definitely want to talk more. We love talking to a broader range of people. We just love everybody's aspect on different things. So again, thank you. We appreciate you all, and we'll talk to you again after our out of theater reaction. But until then, as always, deuces.